Am I wrong for naming my cat something my sister was going to name her daughter? Sister, Alice 29 female, had some fertility issues. She eventually got pregnant a few years ago. Alice wanted the gender of the baby to be a surprise so she wouldn't know until he was born. She ended up picking out two names, one if it was a boy and one if it was a girl. She ended up having a boy. When she was talking about girl names, she floated the idea Sandra, and her nickname could be Sandy. She did not end up using the name, and it wasn't even their pick for the name if it was a girl. It was their second or third choice. Anyway, fast forward to last week, I found and rescued an orange cat. After I knew she wasn't lost, I decided that I would keep her. I was trying to think of names that would work, and one of my friends suggested Sandy. This friend did not know that my sister had brought up the name Sandy for her child. I loved the name and decided that was what I was going to be naming her. When I told my parents and sister about this, my sister got kind of quiet and asked if I could change it. She said that Sandy was what she wanted to name her daughter if she had one. I honestly did not know she was trying to have another child and did not even make the connection or remember she also liked the name. She said that I should change it and would be an asshole for stealing her name. I really like the name Sandy for this cat, so would I be the asshole if I didn't change it?
Imagine falling victim to a demented serial killer and being the only one of his victims that survives to tell the tale. In September of 1992, Jennifer Aspenson was a young 19-year-old nurse living in Palm Springs, California. She had just missed her bus while buying candy for the disabled girls that she worked with at a nearby hospital. During this time, a serial killer who had brutally murdered 5 women was on the hunt. Jennifer was visibly distressed because it was 9:50 p.m. and she worked a 10 to 6 shift. A man pulled up to her after noticing her distress and offered her a ride. At first, Jennifer turned him down, but she had already showed up late to work 3 nights in a row and she was told if it happened again that she'd be fired. As he started to drive away, Jennifer changed her mind and got in his car. When he dropped her off, he asked her for her number. She didn't want to blatantly reject him, so she gave him a fake number and went to work. When Jennifer gets off at 6 a.m., she sees his car waiting for her. He asked her if she'd like to get breakfast and she tells him that she couldn't. He then talks her into at least giving her a ride home and she accepts. As they're driving, he pulls out the number she had given him and his whole persona shifts. He screams at her that he called the number and some old lady answered. He instantly bashes her head in the dashboard and ties her wrists behind her back. Jennifer is in complete shock and terrified when she sees the gun. He puts her seat all the way back and drives her out to the desolate desert. As Jennifer watches the telephone poles pass, the realization sets in that she might never leave this desert. When he stops, he uses a weapon to tear off her clothing. Jennifer recalls the look in his eyes being dark and of pure rage. At this moment, she knows that he's done this before. He tried to assault her, but he couldn't perform, which only angered him more. The level of violence escalated as he strangled her. As her vision went blurry, she felt an overwhelming calm sensation wash over her as everything went white. Suddenly, she felt herself come to again and watched as he was pounding on her chest. She was ready to accept death and just told him to do it. However, he wasn't finished with her, and wanting to continue her torture, he grabs a bag of sharp weapons out of the trunk. She refuses to die being cut up into pieces and tries to escape. He follows after her and catches her, dragging her by her hair through cacti and gravel. He put her in the trunk, battered and bloody, and starts driving. In that moment, Jennifer remembered her grandmother and prayed to God for help. She recalls getting a hysterical amount of energy and splitting the twine apart that was holding her wrists together. She then manages, by some miracle, to tear through the latch of the trunk and open it. This is when the man pulls over, gets out, and slams the trunk shut again. Jennifer Aspenson had just managed to break free from her restraints and pop the trunk of her abductor's car. He gets out and slams it shut again. He gets in his car to drive off when his tire gets stuck in the soft sand on the shoulder of the desert. Jennifer manages to pop open the trunk once again and listens to the voice screaming in her head telling her to run for her life. The man grabs a machete and starts chasing after her. As she's sprinting along the deserted highway, by some miracle, a truck is driving towards her. The truck stops and it turns out to be 2 Marines. They quickly put her in the backseat and try to go after the captor, but she urges them not to as he has a gun. The Marines clothe her as she tells them what happened. She had been tortured for nearly 2 hours in that desert. The Marines take her to a patrol station in the nearest town 20 minutes away. However, her nightmare was far from over because no one believed Jennifer's story, including her mother or police. She was forced into thinking that she had some crazy episode and moved on with her life believing that she'd never see him again. Approximately 4 years later in 1996, Chicago was plagued by 3 consecutive murders that all shared the same MO. Hands tied, naked, discarded in water, and shot by the same weapon. However, police had no leads. It wasn't until a sex worker gave a tip about a John who had requested to restrain her. She remembered hearing about the other victims and reported it to police. This John turned out to be a man named Andrew Urialis, 32 and an ex-Marine. He had recently been arrested for possession of a firearm that turned out to be the exact one used in the Chicago murders. Urialis confessed to everything, including his murders in California, also outlining the details of Jennifer's kidnapping. They interviewed her and she pointed his picture out as the man who assaulted her 5 years prior. Urialis had murdered 8 women and Aspenson was the only one who survived. She attended every trial and testified against Urialis. He was found guilty of his crimes and put on death row. In 2018, he was sentenced to death in California. Less than a month later, he carried out his own sentence and killed himself in his cell. Jennifer went on to become a proud mother, public figure, author, and wife. She released her book, The Girl in the Treehouse, about her ordeal in 2018. She also starred in an episode of I Survived a Serial Killer.
Am I the asshole for refusing to fire my personal trainer per his wife's request? I, 43 female, hired my personal trainer Alex in mid-2018 through the gym. I asked for someone who understands chronic pain because I've had it for 20 years and need help managing it. Swimming did wonders for me until my body began to develop negative reactions to pool chemicals. This is why I decided to switch to the gym. Long story short, Alex helped beyond expectation. He helped me improve so much that a few months ago, my doctor actually switched me to mild pain medication and lowered the doses too. As a token of appreciation, I gave Alex an early Christmas card last week with $50 on it. Just a simple thank you. Today I went for solo training and a woman approached me claiming to be Alex's wife. She accused me of getting friendly with Alex and demanded that I ask the gym to switch trainers. I refused and she got aggressive, so I got the staff involved and they removed her. Later, I told friends about the incident and they said I was disrespectful and should have honored her wishes. Though I don't think Alex's wife's insecurity is my problem, I feel bad about possibly getting him in trouble at home. Edited to add that I never thought of the possibility of a stalker, imposter, and now I'm getting the chills. I never even thought of that. I'll definitely ask him about it as soon as possible. Am I the asshole for not wanting to make my friend a wedding dress for cost of materials? I have a degree in fashion, which some people think means I can be their personal seamstress. I'm used to this problem and I don't mind helping people out, but I never work for free. My pregnant friend recently reached out to me and asked if I could make her wedding dress. She sent me pictures of the idea she had in mind, and it isn't exactly a simple dress, but not the most complex I've ever done either. I told her I could for sure do that for her, and it cost €600. She was shocked at this and told me she thought I'd do it for free and that she'd just pay for the materials. At this point, I pointed out how many hours this would take me to do and all the hand embroidery needed. I then explained I was doing this for a quarter of the price I charge other people because she's my friend. At this point, she started to get really upset, telling me I have no idea how much stress she's under with the wedding and the fact that she's pregnant. She then went on to explain to me how money is tight and that this should be my wedding gift to her. She also said how great it looked in my portfolio. I don't think I'm being unreasonable to want some money for this, but other friends are telling me how I'm horrible for wanting to charge her for this. And it's not like I'm a high-end bridal shop. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for telling my sister she was out of her mind when she said she wanted to take back my child that I adopted from her? Woo! How you gonna try to repost somebody's baby? I'm a 36-year-old female. My sister, a 29-year-old female, Naomi, got pregnant at 18. I'm infertile when I knew I couldn't have kids. So when Naomi said she was giving her baby up for adoption, I decided to be her mom. Naomi went no contact 5 months after giving birth. For a bit of background, Naomi got pregnant by a one-night stand and she apparently didn't remember or know who the father was at the time of birth. But when Veronica, the baby, was 2, a man named Terry, 35, messaged me on social media claiming to be the father of my child. We met up, he bonded with his daughter, and well, that man is now my husband of 7 years. Shout out to happy endings. The baby got a mom that really wanted her and a father who did not know that she existed, who wants to be in her life and is now her actual father, and you guys got married. That's actually dope. So going back to my sister, she called me yesterday. Although I was surprised at her call, I picked up. We made some small talk and then she said she had just gotten married a year back and both of them wanted children but couldn't because her husband was infertile but really wanted kids. I asked her if she wanted to adopt and she said she would just need to get her baby back. Hey, yo, let me just get that baby back. I was speechless for a few moments before replying that if she wants to meet my child as an aunt, she is welcome to, and we both can sit Veronica down and explain the reason for her absence, but she can't just ask me to give up my child. She says she'll sue me as she's the birth mother. I told her she was out of her mind, and I told her about Terry. She exploded, calling me names and saying that I stole her life. I got too emotional and hung up. Terry came home from work and on explaining to him what happened, he was beyond furious. I then got a call from my parents who was out of her mind and I told her about Terry. She exploded, calling me names and saying that I stole her life. I got too emotional and hung up. Terry came home from work and on explaining to him what happened, he was beyond furious. I then got a call from my parents saying I was an asshole for telling Naomi she couldn't see her baby. I told them I never said that and I welcomed her to find with Veronica, but they refused to listen and said I was being insensitive and harsh and flaunting my family. Terry said there's no way he would let her
That was why I don't wanna lose it now.
Also,
I just don't want to tire. Me and you forever, I'll be yours. I'm being afraid. My lover, no drama. I'm not dangerous, but I can make you bleed. My lover, no drama. I'm not dangerous, but I can make you.
Hi guys, for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.